Hey, this is Jimmy Bell. I play guitar for House of Lords, Autograph, and Demons Down, and you are listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
I'm Bruce. That's my partner, Rena.
Hi, Rena. Hi, Bruce. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
It's all these modern conveniences here.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't grow up in this age. I grew up, I'm 65 years old. I didn't even know what a computer was when I went to school. So That's,
Well, cool. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm very much appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you so much.
So, I mean, I could just jump right in. I've been jamming I Stand all morning long, and I absolutely love it. So congratulations on that. What's been the response to it so far?
Oh, it's that project is going over huge. It really is. It's such a funny, I'll tell you the story. Mario from Frontiers had contacted me about doing one of these super groups, that they put together. They have a whole bunch of them. I'm sure you know all of them. And but he didn't really tell me who was in it. So I was he says, you want to do one of these things? I said, yeah, I definitely want to be involved. So he hooked me up with Alessandro Del Vecchio. He's the one that would produce it and play keys, wrote the lyrics and everything else. So I started sending him songs. And then they told me that Ken Mary and Chuck Wright were going to be in it. And I was floored because, I've been in House of Lords since 2005, and Ken and Chuck are the original rhythm section from House of Lords. So I said, oh, this is going to be a blast to do. I always wanted to play with them on something too. So they kind of kept it a little bit of a secret. And then I was just like so happy. And then when I heard, when I started to hear the songs, they sounded great. And I didn't even know who was singing. I'm not familiar with James and Francesco, but my God, they're incredible. Well, for the great guitarist, and James is just the most amazing vocalist. I mean, I'm floored with what he's done with these songs. Especially me being a big Ronnie James Dio fan. He's got like the power of Ronnie, and it's similarity,
So you jumped in without even knowing who was in the project?
Yeah, that's half the fun of it. Well, they pieced it together, they contacted me first. They probably already knew, but they didn't say exactly who was in it right off the bat. They wanted to say, they hooked me up with Alessandro, who I've known for years, and said, well, start sending tracks. So that's what I did. I started sending songs to him. And then slowly, it started coming out who they were looking at and for the other musicians. And I was just thrilled. I couldn't be happier with the way this record came out. Honestly, I'm especially like you mentioned, I Stand. That's one of the tracks that I wrote. Yeah, I don't write lyrics. I only write music, But it just, really came out amazing. Really, really did.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I'm older, like I said, and I have my influences are, from way back, so among my Johnny Winter and my and Al Dimeola, who was how I learned to do all my speed picking. Ritchie Blackmore was a huge influence to me.
Right.
So I kind of like took those three guys and created my own style. But Ritchie's musical influence really stuck with me a lot. I mean, I loved his work with Rainbow too, as well. You know, I was a huge fan of all the Deep Purples all the way down. But then, you know, even when he left and did Rainbow with Ronnie, it was just like, oh, this is great. And, you know, so this almost has, you know, to me, I've always dug that tune, Gates of Babylon, that Rainbow did. You know, it's got the whole Arabian thing, and I wanted to, not copy, but it's just an influence. You know, I really like that sound. You know, so it was just something I happened to hit on when I was writing the song. I said, "Oh, this is good." You know,
I dig it, Rita.
Yeah, it's not plagiarism if you just call it a tribute, right? You know?
Yeah.
That's basically how it works. But you said that you don't write lyrics, you just write the music. But do lyrics still matter to you? Does it matter what the singers are on about?
Yeah, I would say so. Like if I hear something come back that I'm not 100% jazzed on, well, I mean, that's I have two ways of looking at that. I could either be not thrilled with it or and just live with it, or if I'm not 100%, I look at it, well, that's on them. I didn't write that. So but you know what I've always wanted to do, you're gonna might find this funny, is I always wanted to take one song of mine, one musical song, and give it to like 5 different singers and see what each singer comes back with that one idea, because every singer will have their own interpretation of what their view is on that song.
And their own phrasing and everything.
Yeah. Phrasing, lyric. So I would find that to be very interesting to hear what each singer comes back with, on the same tune. But I'll tell you, that actually happened on this record. And I'll give you a little example. So when I first started, do I have time to do this? Give you examples?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. So for every House of Lords record I write, out of the 10, 11 songs that they use, I always write about 15 to 16 songs. There's always extra tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times James Christian will go back and revisit the ones and say, oh yeah, I like that, because once he gets set on the 10, or 10 or so, and then he's got those in his head, and anything afterwards that I send, he might not even really listen to, because he's all done, and he does, it's like, well, that's good, but I'll listen to it, some other time. So we always go back and revisit. So what happened is I had this tune that's on the last House of Lords record we just did, Saints and Sinners. There was one track left over from our previous album, New World, New Eyes. There was one particular track that I kept, that I really liked. So I sent that out to Alessandro right away because it wasn't being used. And he wrote this great song on it. Came out phenomenal. Then all of a sudden I'm doing, keep in mind now, I'm doing 3 records at the same time. I'm doing House of Lords record, Autographs record, and the Demons Down album all at once. I'm gonna have all these projects going. So all of a sudden James Christian comes back with the song all finished. He goes, I took that song from the last thing, and I'm going like, a big panic came over me because I didn't know what to do, because Alessandro just finished doing this amazing song for the same track. But what James Christian did with it was equally as great. So I had to tell him that, and he was, he was all flipping out. He said, Jimmy, this is strong. I want to keep this. So I kind of threw it in Frontier's hands. I go, here, both records are coming out on Frontiers. You guys decide. I mean, I didn't know what to do. It was kind of like, and they ended up letting James Christian keep the song.
Wow.
So because I had plenty to send to Alessandro, but it was funny. Both of them came out great. If you ever heard both versions, it's pretty good.
How do you juggle all those projects at once?
I usually go by the singer. The band, like what I write for House of Lords and Demons Down is nothing what I would write for Autograph. Autograph is more straight ahead rock and roll, that vibe. And I always look at the singer, like Simon is a totally different singer than what James Christian or I. Of course, like I said, I didn't even know what James from Demons Down was going to sound like until I heard him the final mixes of the I Stand record, and man, I was blown away. So, but I like to write for the singer. Usually, if I get involved in a project, I'll listen to what the band's doing first, you know, the vibe of music that they're doing. And then I listen to the singer's range. It's very important to me to always try to write something that will complement what he's doing. You know, I wouldn't try to push a melodic rock song onto Simon, even though he would probably be able to do it, but it's not really what Autograph was about, you know? So,
right.
So I try to keep in the genre of the music that whatever the band's doing.
They're sort of more anthemic, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, it's a different era, different time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's what it is.
House of Lords, I was just thinking when you're talking, I remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Gene Simmons on board in the beginning of House of Lords?
Yeah, Gene Simmons signed them in the early days. That was the first three. They were on his label, the Simmons label, which was part of RCA.
See, my metal knowledge is pretty good.
Yeah, you're kicking ass. You're kicking ass, my friend. That's good. Yeah, no, you were right. You're right on the money. And there's actually some TV shows. You could find them on YouTube that they're on performing live with the original lineup with Greg Giuffria and everybody, and Ken and Shock and Laney. And Gene Simmons is in the audience because the guy makes it a point to say, look at Gene out there in the audience, like a proud papa, you know? Right. So yeah, I mean, that was a pretty cool, thing for them. I remember hearing James Christian is from where I'm from. I'm from Connecticut. Okay. So James Christian was from here. He played in a band called Eyes. They were a local band. They did originals and cover music. And they played the circuit. They probably did more covers so they could work, and I was in a band called Join Forces, which is the band that toured with Joan Jett. And then we did the movie with the Michael J. Fox movie with Joan and everything. And we were all original though. So we took the chance, we took the leap and went all original, but we went over really huge. So James knew of me, I knew of James and everything, but James, finally had went out to California, and that's when the whole thing. I remember him telling me that he was down to his last few dollars because he went out there to see what he could do, and it got to the point where he wasn't sure he was maybe going to have to come home. And then that's when the House of Lords thing came about. He got a chance to audition for that. So
just in the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time, exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Rena?
Well, I'm going to go back to the whole, I am taking the singer's range into account when I write music. How fucking thoughtful is that?
I always think about everybody else other than me. No, you got to really. No, you really got to. You have to think about that, Rena, because honestly, if you try to write something out of, let's put it this way, if something real complicated, like supposing I'm going to give you a mental, scenario. I mean, what if I was to write a song like something like Rush and tried to give it to Autograph? It just it wouldn't work. So you got to look what the band is doing and where his vocal range is. That's very important. Like you listen to where he sings, you check certain songs that he already recorded and where you think he sounds the best. That's the other thing. You want to find keys that you've heard him sing before and where he sounds his best at. You always try to give a good product. And I'm very easy to work with. So and listen, I've written songs where if they don't like them, they don't like them. And not everything I write gets accepted. I write so much though. It's like I didn't have my own recording studio forever. I only got it just a little over a year or so ago, right, because of because I did all my recording with over at BJ Zampa's house from House of Lords. He lived 10 minutes away from me.
Gotcha.
So that worked out very well. So I didn't even have it. But once he started playing with Dokken full time, I went into, I had to get my own studio thing happening, and that's where that's how this ended up. But since I've had this, I've got well over 200 songs just sitting here in this computer.
Oh, really?
I just write all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. Well over 200. I've got, if there was another autograph album, I've got enough for 3 albums, because I title like each song, who it's for, who it might be good for.
Gotcha.
So autograph, like when I'm labeling songs, it'll say like auto, and then I'll write what key it is, tempo, and that type of thing. Or House of Lords will be HOL. I'm even like, you might laugh because of I like country music, but not hokey pokey country. I'm talking like the modern stuff, like Keith Urban and stuff, because it's real rock.
Right.
It's not, country music isn't what it used to be. It's heavy. They use drop tunings. They use everything. It's like really heavy. And I even loved, when Shania Twain was married to Mutt Lange, Mutt, here we are, produced AC/DC and Def Leppard and everything. And then he brought that vibe to Shania Twain and gave her a whole new type of
so big.
rock. Yeah. Her sound became huge, like really cool rock song, almost rock country. So I've been working with this this country rock girl named Elena Ray, and I just started doing some stuff, but I've already sent her 22 songs. She wanted some material, and I wish I wrote lyrics, because now she's got like 22, 23 songs she has to write lyrics to, but she musically, she loves everything I send her all the time. So, that's one of those things. It's, if I could say what it's like, I would say it's a cross between Keith Urban, Shania Twain, and AC/DC. That's what I send her, because I'm a huge AC/DC fan. They're my go-to band. If I want to get happy, I put on AC/DC. That's what I listen to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Works like the exact opposite for me. I think they're the most overrated band on the planet. I'm probably going to get so much hate for this, but I'll take it.
No.
I'm standing behind my...
No one hates you for your own opinion. This is a whole new world, honey. You have a right to hate whoever you want. This is not like the old days, It's right. Like, everybody has their own, what they like. I'll tell you what I love about, if we're talking about AC/DC for a second, what I love about AC/DC and always have loved about AC/DC, I'm a very simple writer. I like songs that, I don't do anything with crazy beats and, real complicated sections and everything. My songs are, even the stuff I write for House of Lords or Demons Down is pretty straightforward. I like anything I could tap my foot to. So every time I would listen to an AC/DC song, I'd be going like this. Everything is just like that straight, right. At different tempos, but it's always that straight ahead rock in your face thing. So that's what I think really makes me like them a lot. But hey, I'm not holding that against you.
Nice. Thank you. To me, it's just the same song over and over again.
Angus Young said it. Angus Young said it himself. He says, people said we've written 10 albums of the exact same songs. And he says, I disagree. We've written 11 albums of the exact same songs.
Right.
Boom. All right.
But they're laughing all the way to the bank, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, look at here. Let's just talk about this for 1 second. So you had all these 80s bands. House of Lords got caught in that too. You have all these 80s bands that got crushed when Nirvana came in, when Seattle music came in, right. and that whole thing, unless you were huge like Motley Crue or Poison or something like that, you got crushed. AC/DC was a band that survived. Yes. They survived throughout that whole thing. So
why?
Amongst others.
You know why? Because they were on an island.
yeah. They were in Australia. Yeah, they were. But
I'm such an idiot. I'm sorry. But pandemic joke.
No, it's absolutely true. But you look at all the great bands that we lost, and well, we didn't really lose them because honestly, that's the reason. Like House of Lords went over to Europe and toured a lot because over in Europe, those people love that music still. Like the '80s music is so huge to them over there. Well, every time I've went to Europe on tour, I have to say the audience is so open-minded to whatever is being played there. So I'll give you an example, like the same crowd that would come see House of Lords playing some ballads and everything will be at a death metal concert, real headbanging,
Right.
slamming thing. They just love music over there, no matter what genre it is.
This is just fucking hilarious to hear that you're sort of lumping Europe into this like big thing that just has a cohesive behavior pattern. I'm here in Finland.
Yeah.
Like I'm a Finnish girl, and I can tell you that we're fucking famous for like loving a gig and then just like standing there like this throughout the whole thing. Like, this is the best shit I've ever seen, but I'm not gonna move a fucking muscle.
Well, that's funny. That's funny because I'll tell you, we've played some of the shows that House of Lords played, especially in Germany. I'll never forget because I witnessed this. We're playing one of House of Lords' big ballads, "Love Don't Lie." And there's these big German guys standing in front of me going, "Love don't lie," with their fist in the air. And I'm going like, I'm looking at them. And they don't look like they would be doing, like doing this to a ballad, but they're right there in the front going like, So I said, there's something to be said about this,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you're right. Like, because this is what I mean about lumping the whole thing together. Because definitely, like, Germany is a great place to play a live show. They're really, really into it. Totally. Especially if you have black beats and pig masks, they're gonna love you. But
I love Finland. I played in Finland several times. I didn't know you were from there. Yep.
That's cool.
House of Lords has played there many times.
So
that's freaking great.
So Demons Down, any chance of taking it on the road, or is it?
I absolutely want to take it on the road. I would do anything for that band to go on the road. I mean, I've already put it out there to the guys because, I'm so blown away with the record. I just said, guys, and it's not, if it was just my personal love for the record, it'd be one thing. But, ever since I've posted I Stand, on my social media pages or any of the other songs, all the comments have been like nothing but 100% positive. I've had people telling me that this is the best project I've done in my whole career. And I'm going like, in my whole career? Nice. I go, I said, I played with Geezer Butler. I said, and all these other things. I said, so you really think this is, they said, no, this is one of the best things. We just love this. So who am I to say, know? I think it's funny at 65 years old, people are telling me this is the best thing I've ever done in my life.
That's great, though. Still being relevant is awesome, right?
Yeah. I might, it shows that I'm not too old to do stuff, as long as I'm playing guitar, I'll play as long as I can, Right.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely not too old. There's no such thing. Just fucking do it. Like go do the thing. Doesn't don't ask people whether it's okay. People are stupid. Just, do it.
Yep.
Yeah. I just, I if you ever knew how much, in my early days, how much I played guitar nonstop, but guitar was one of these things when I played a lot of instruments before I played guitar. I had a drum scholarship from age 10 to 13. And I was jamming with some guys here at my house, and the guitar player left his guitar here. He left it out of the case and just leaning against the amplifier. This is the 70s now. So I picked up his guitar after they left. I turned the amp on, and it was this old Big Muff fuzz box that I wish I had because it would be worth a fortune. But I turned that on and I started playing some. Now I'm left-handed and that was a right-handed guitar. So I'm playing the guitar upside down and I'm hitting all these things and my mind starts going. and I'm going, oh my God, I love this. I love it. I freaked out so bad that within 2 weeks, I dropped my drum scholarship I had and had to have a guitar. That's how the guitar took me over that quick. So I had to get, I had an acoustic that got strung lefty for me, but then I had to move right to an electric. So, and the guitar never left my hand. When I tell you, as soon as I started going, that I played guitar day, night, 24 hours a day. When I went to school, because I was in school, I would get up and practice my guitar to the very last second before I had to go to school. And then as soon as I got home, I would not do homework. I would practice guitar until I had to go to bed.
Wow.
And I ended up graduating high school by the skin of my teeth.
About 50 years later, you're still making killer music.
Right, because I think all this explains how you're where you are right now and why you're still making the best stuff you've made,
Well, it's just weird. You got to have guitar playing. You got to any musical instrument you pick up, you have to have a love for it. It has to you have to be really taken by it. I used to teach guitar, very frustrating to teach. I'm not a very good teacher because of the fact that I'm self-taught. I pretty much learned guitar with the exception of maybe 6 lessons. Everything I learned on a guitar was simply from me sitting down and playing and playing and playing and trying things. So when people wanted to learn what I do, my picking technique and everything, it was like I just don't even know how to show somebody. Somebody that's been playing for a little bit, I could probably show them a few things. But somebody that was not advanced, like a beginner or something, forget it. I wouldn't even know how to teach a beginner. It's like it's just, one of those things. But you have to have the love for it and the passion to play. And when I was teaching, there were some people, that I felt bad for that really wanted to play, but they just had no musical gift. Mm. And I actually got to the point where I would not. I told them I didn't want to. I didn't say I didn't want to teach you. I would make some other kind of excuse because I did not want to take their money for lessons because I was guilty about that, knowing that they would never achieve the next part of it. I don't know if that was a smart thing to do because everybody needs money, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to take
the honest thing anyway.
It was honest. I didn't want to just keep taking from them and saying, yeah, you're going to get this, and then just sitting looking at the clock and going, okay, now see you next week. And I just couldn't take it. But yeah, you have to. And here's the thing about when I grew up playing guitar. Like I said, I started late 13, early 14. There was no such thing as computers, YouTube, any of that stuff. Kids nowadays, young guitar players nowadays, they want to learn something. They go to YouTube, they type it in. There's a million guitar players showing you how to play this. Note for note, everything. When I was trying to learn a Deep Purple song off a Machine Head, I had to keep taking the record needle and putting it back and forth, trying to get it without slowing. And I couldn't slow it down. Right. So I was trying to figure out what Ritchie Blackmore was playing. And then, so I wrecked records doing that. Finally, cassettes came out. So then I said, oh, this is great. I could go back and forth with the forward, rewind, just kept going back and forth on that one spot. But it still didn't slow it down so I could actually hear what was being played. So, my ear training got very good. But what was even more important than anything is that I developed my own style of guitar playing because of this. Because I wasn't able to copy things exactly note for note, I would take things and create something that kind of sounded like it. So from that point, you get to you start building your own style of playing. And that's what's important. You don't want to be like, that's why I purposely, throughout my guitar playing years, of course, I was around before Yngwie was around. Right. But when Yngwie came out and everybody started jumping on the neoclassical bandwagon, doing the harmonic minor scales, diminished, sweeping arpeggios, and I stayed away from that because everybody that was going in that direction all sounded like Yngwie. And it was just like,
it definitely was a trend. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a trend. So, and you're not going to get recognized for that. There's Yngwie, and that's it. Yngwie started this. You're always going to get compared to him, even if you're doing it amazing. If you're treading on the neoclassical thing, and even if you're the most amazing guitar player, people are going to say, "Oh, that's like Yngwie," or "You sound like Yngwie." That's a very difficult thing to deal with, if you don't have your own identity.
Yeah.
That was the one thing back in the 80s when I was interviewed for Guitar Player magazine. I was in this column called Spotlight. It was in Guitar Player magazine. I'll never forget it because the gentleman, Mike Varney, who used to run the column, used to do 3 kind of unknown players.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them would always say, he would always do a description, and he would always say, kind of sounds like, similar, sounds very similar to this, sounds very similar to that.
Right.
And me, when my thing, it was, I didn't sound like anybody. He says he's got this amazing right hand. He didn't compare me to anybody. I was just like, that was great.
That's beautiful. Hey, I hate to do this, but we're running up against time in the Zoom here.
I keep hearing that. I thought we could go as long as we want, but no. Okay, what do you want to talk about real quick?
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh man, if you got more questions, please book another one. I like doing.
We could have gone on for like easily an hour, but the next one is like already waiting for 2 minutes.
We can do this again for sure because it was a great conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, there's so much you didn't even hit on. My stuff with Ozzy and playing with Geezer and the Joan Jett stuff that I did and everything.
If you don't mind, I'll hit John up again and we'll do something else.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it for sure. I want to do another one.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Sequel time, bitches. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do another. I appreciate it.
I'll hit John up as soon as I'm done today.
All right, wonderful. Yeah, let's book another.
All right, man. Thank you, my friend.
Brilliant.
Be safe. Be well.
Super lovely talking to you. See you later, dude.
Nice too. Take care of yourself, hon.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye, dude.
Bye.